know those window people coming.
About 11.
Okay. Wonder and I are go out after.
And how do you want, how many, how about if I do a draft and send it to you?
Good morning, everyone.
Here.
Order. The King County Finance and Budget Committee. Wednesday, January 24th. We have roll call, please.
Juby? Juby here. Lewis? Yes.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh,
Order. Who's that?
sure.
Finance and Budget Committee.
Somebody's got.
It's a replay of you.
January 24th. Is that what I sound like? Oh, my God.
Deputy's here. Deputy's here remotely.
Oh, my. Okay. Teppy,
Deputy here.
Leonard,
Leonard here.
Herman.
Berman's here. Is that what I sound like?
Oh, you have to listen to your voice.
Deputy's here remotely.
Tepe is here. We have a remote attendance request from Mr. Tepe.
Teppy,
Deputy here.
Leonard.
We gotta give it.
Blair, we've got a problem. Tepe is here. We have a remote attendance request from Mr. Tepe. Tune in at 9:05 and we'll get. Blair, we've got a problem.
Vern, you need to mute.
Vern's already signed in once.
Well, somebody,
We have a,
oh, it's Claire's fault.
No fault,
Please.
no fault area.
well, thank you, Blair. I'm not used to hearing myself. Okay, Mr. Tepe is online and we've approved him. Is that true? Okay. Moving on. Public comments. I have no knowledge of any public comments from anyone here in the building. Anyone online? Oh. We need approval of the minutes for December 27th.
Leonard moves for unanimous consent of the minutes from the meeting December 27th, 2023.
All in agreement? All right, they were passed by unanimous consent. Now public comments, which I don't have any. Treasurer's report, Mr. Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Treasury submitted its report about 7 to 8 days ago, and so that's on file. This morning, I was anticipating that we were going to have a special guest, Neil Powers, who's one of the investment managers who had been selected through the RFP process about maybe 10 months ago. But the O'Hare, he was coming in yesterday and there was a delay of 8 hours on his flight. I think we tossed in the towel after about 4 hours. And so we'll just have to take a rain check and come at a time when the weather cooperates. In the treasury, we continue to collect the taxes and earn interest. That's moving along well. If I could make a suggestion to the Finance Committee, I think that it's a really important thing that the issue gets resolved through either talking with the external auditor, Baker Tilly, as far as what the board decides as a policy issue to do with interest income. To spread it around to the different funds based on balances in those funds, I would ask, if I were a board member, I would ask, people to show you where in state statute and in the county code, it says that you make a proportionate allocation of that interest. I don't think that that will be found. There are some legal considerations, and so those have to be respected. But outside of that, the majority of that interest, should be put to good use by the board. When I was in accounting practice, I used to tell my clients that it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And that's after tax policies. And so in this case, the government corollary to that is it's not how much money, interest income we earn, it's how much interest income the board is able to use productively. I have enormous respect for our state's attorney's office and the members of the staff. I enjoy working with them. But I think that Baker Tilly is a good outside source, highly competent. They also do the audit work for DuPage County that has a reputation for doing a lot of good things. I think that a study by Baker Tilly is the beginning point. I would be happy to work with the board on getting a report like that looked at by the Illinois Department of Revenue. Director Harris is an old friend and colleague in the General Assembly, and also the Illinois County Treasurers Association. So if I can lend any support to the effort so that you have the maximum amount of revenue to put to good use, I'm at your service. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any comments? Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to say that I agree with the treasurer on his thought of getting an independent source to give us a definitive answer on the allocation of the interest earned. And the reason for that is over the next 3 years, 2 to 3 years, we're going to have interest earned of approximately 30 million or more. And if that money can be used as we feel is necessary in our general fund, I think it would truly help balance our budget for the next 3 years. If we don't have a definitive independent outside source to give us a decision on that, and we don't use it in our general fund, I think we're losing the access to approximately $25, $30 million over the next 3 years. So I'm in support of the outside auditing firm Baker Tilly doing an independent study. I think the cost on that might be $15,000 to $20,000. Let's even say it's $25,000. If we would have access to an additional $25 million over the next 3 years, I think it would go a long way in helping us balance our budget.
You're talking about total interest. You're not talking about the portion that goes to the different departments.
I'm talking about the portions that go to the different departments
You're estimating that that's going to be 25 million in the next 5
over
years.
the next 3 years. Yes.
Deppie here.
Mr. Tepe.
It's disappointing to me that when we have an opinion from the state's attorney and an opinion from the financial director, our treasurer continues to bring this up because he wants to be able to use the money the way he wants to use it. We already have an opinion from our own state's attorney and our own finance director. And I looked into this, and I believe if we go back, there was a study done back in 2017, so I've been told. that covers most of this matter. These funds aren't going away. He just wants to use these funds in a different manner. That would be up to the board anyway. And there's no reason to expend this kind of money and to continue this discussion when we've already had opinions from the state's attorney and our own finance director.
Ms. Juby?
Well, I was just gonna say that I am reluctant to not follow the advice of our state's attorney. I think we've learned a couple times in the meeting when we've not followed their advice that we probably should have. And so I'm gonna stick with a lesson learned and follow them. I don't disagree that we should be looking into it, but I'm not a risk taker and things like that. So I'm gonna defer to our legal advice.
Any other comments? All right, the committee will review that in the coming future. Mr. Lawson, does that complete your, all right, moving on. Auditor's report, Ms. Boygun.
Good morning. Our report is on file. I do want to point out that we have included in the packet the EIS annual report. Also, the P-card business purpose, which we've traditionally included in the packet, is now available online on our website with the amount of pages that is included in that. I understand that your packet has become cumbersome, so we've relocated it to the auditor's website and makes it easier for everybody to pull up whenever they're interested in it. We've had a lot of interest in this report from the municipalities of them trying to replicate this. So we've just moved it to a better location. In place of that, we have provided a top 10 P-card vendor report. With us changing our P-card vendor, I thought this information would be beneficial to the board going forward and with whatever decisions we may make about P-cards going forward. That's my report. I can answer any questions.
Are there any questions of our auditor? Thank you, Penny. We have a resolution approving the December 2023 claims paid of $16,177,980.89. We have a motion to approve.
Leonard, so moves.
Leonard moves. Sanchez, second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Juby,
Aye.
Lewis,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
Thank you. And item 8 is our finance director report. Ms. Hopkinson.
Hello, good morning. The finance report is in your packet. I'm just going to go over the highlights for fiscal 2023. 2024 is just starting, but we just kicked off our annual audit Monday. So they're going to be here all week, and then they're going to come back in March to hopefully finish off the audit. And we've got all the departments across the county working with us to provide us information. So thank you very much for that. We're asking for a lot this year, especially with software subscriptions, which is a new GASB that we have to implement. We're also working this week to get our W-2s and all of our 1099s out. So it's crunch time. In the next few days here, we have to get them all printed out and stuffed and mailed and all that good stuff. If we want to go to the finance director's report, it's on page 115. Oh, there we go. We're still projecting for 2023, we're still projecting a loss in the general fund, general account. I've talked about this before. We have various sub-accounts of the general fund. Most of those sub-accounts are for reserves. A couple are not, but our main account, our general account of the general fund, we're projecting a loss of around 5.5, 6 million. The entire general fund, we're projecting a loss of around 14 million. The biggest piece of that compared to last year, the biggest component of that is we spent $8 million on equipment, election equipment for the county clerk's office that came out of our general fund reserves. And that was not budgeted, and we did not have any other funding source for that election equipment. If you look at our select tax revenues, everything is pretty much in range, except again, for the PPRT, which I continue to talk about. Next page. A graph of our select tax revenues. As you can see, our sales tax revenues are the largest component of the non-property tax revenues. And the two sales tax and RTA sales tax, they kind of follow each other, which makes sense because the tax is on the same types of items. We go down to the next page. Again, I just want to point out our local government distributive fund. The share of cannabis revenue that we get as part of our local government distributive fund, it's just a little tiny red piece of each one of those bars on the bar graph. It's not a large component, but it's getting a little bit bigger. And if you flip to 2 pages down, we'll just go over the cannabis revenue again. We get 2 forms of cannabis tax revenue. One, we get a share of the state's cannabis tax, and then we also have our own county local tax. The share from the state on this particular graph is the smaller piece in red, and the larger component is the county's cannabis tax revenue. We're getting around between $110,000 and $120,000 a month in cannabis tax revenue, and that's all going into our general fund. The state cannabis tax revenue is going into a special fund, which is overseen by the sheriff because it's restricted on how we can use that money. Next slide. Just an update on our union contracts. As of today, we only have a handful that are expired. And a couple of 4 of those are over a year old at this point. And I think I'm going to leave it there because I know we have a very long agenda, but if anyone has any questions.
Any questions of the? Kathy, thank you very much.
Sure.
Moving on, new business. Item A is a resolution authorizing a budget adjustment assigning $5 million from the Health Department Fund number 350 balance to be used in capital line item for new public health facility. It's $5 million. We have a motion to approve.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez,
Lewis, a second.
Lewis, second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Juby,
Aye.
Lewis,
Yes.
Excuse me. Point of order.
Who is that?
Trying to speak.
Is that Mr. Tepe?
Yes.
Doherty.
Oh, it's Doherty.
Doherty.
Oh, Mr. Doherty? Yes?
What is this committee's plan to fund staff for this building you're moving $5 million for?
Well, I don't think that's part of this discussion, I guess, at this point.
Capital expenditure.
You're moving $5 million for a building that's going to cost $40 million. You just got your finance report and you were, what was it, $12 million short last year. And now you want to build a building and staff it up and you don't have the money for it. What's your plan?
Mr. Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can respond to that just very briefly, high level. This was discussed to some extent at last week's Public Health Committee meeting. So I would just recommend anybody interested to go back to that conversation and hear what was said. Certainly the plan is not to build a building and then fully staff it. Actually, there's a lot of just services that can be provided in such a building. that aren't going to require an increase in resources. We work with a lot of our service providers in the community as a health department. That's one of our strengths actually compared to other health departments. So long term, the board can decide if they want to put more people into the building. But as far as what day one looks like, it's not a requirement that we fully staff it. There are a lot of other programs and things that will be made available because of the space. But again, I would go back to that conversation from last week's Public Health Committee meeting and then follow up with Director Isaacson with any other questions that he can answer in more detail.
Very good. Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, in response to Mr. Sanchez's comments, I understand though that I think, Mr. Doherty, the other thing that you have to realize is there has been nothing approved for a new building. It's still under discussion. So we haven't decided if we're going to build a new building, buy an existing building and rehab it. There are a lot of considerations that are still yet to be made. So this 5 million is being moved towards some type of an improvement for facilities, but it really hasn't been defined totally yet. Would you agree with that, Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, this is just a mechanism to provide the county board the opportunity to decide if that's the direction they want to go. And then if so, all of the ducks metaphorically will be in a row to move quickly on that project.
Very good. Kathleen?
Can I just make, just so everyone knows, this resolution is for 5 million out of the health department fund, not the general fund. The health department fund is an entirely separate fund from the general fund. It currently has a $10 million balance, which is more than 1 year's fund balance of the health department's annual spend. And then also the projected cost right now that they're working with for a health department building is 31 million.
Thank you. I think that clarifies where the funds are coming from. Any other comments? We need to vote. Roll call, please.
Dewey,
Dewey,
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Happy, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
and Berman.
Thank you. Item B is the resolution authorizing transfer of impact fee funds into the North Impact Fee Fund number 558 and the Central Impact Fee Fund number 559 and the South Impact Fee Fund number 560. Just transfer of dollars. Do we have a motion to approve?
Leonard moves.
Sanchez seconds.
Leonard, Sanchez, discussion. Roll call, please.
Dewey,
Dewey,
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Happy, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
Thank you. Item C is a resolution authorizing a contract for the Kane County Air Compressor Equipment and Services, bid number 24-008-TS, $100,000. Do I have a motion?
Lewis will move.
Lewis,
Sanchez seconds.
Sanchez, discussion? Roll call, please.
Dewey,
Dewey,
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Happy, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
Thank you. Item D is a resolution authorizing the contract for the Kane County fencing repair, replacement and installation. Bid number 24-003-TS for $100,000.
Lewis will move.
Lewis,
Leonard will second.
Leonard, second, discussion. Roll call, please.
Dewey,
Dewey,
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Happy, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes. Item E is a resolution authorizing the contract for window washing services. Bid number 24-006-TS, $28,950.
Sanchez moves.
Lewis will second.
Sanchez, Lewis, discussion. Roll call, please.
Dewey,
Maybe I,
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
Thank you. After the resolution authorizing the contract for engineering and design for HVAC systems at the Adult Justice Center. Solicitation number RFQ number 23-058 for $1,131,146.
Leonard will move.
Leonard moves.
Sanchez, seconds.
Sanchez, second discussion. Roll call, please.
Dewey,
maybe I,
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
Thank you. Item G is a resolution authorizing the contract for the Plato Tower rental lease of $29,172.96.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves.
Lewis seconds.
Lewis second. Discussion.
I just have a question.
Ms. Juby?
Is this the big concrete tower or is this the skinny tower next to it?
You're asking.
I believe it's the skinny tower.
It's the skinny tower next to it? Okay, thank you. Well, there's two there, so I
At
didn't
least
know.
now we know there's two towers.
There's two. There's this big one with satellites and then there's a skinny one.
Concrete one is the one that's.
Yeah.
the
Okay.
eyesore. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Any other discussion, questions? Roll call, please.
Dewey, Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes. Item H is a resolution authorizing the contract for the King County Animal Control Generator Installation Project, $77,856.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez,
Leonard,
under
seconds.
second discussion. Roll call, please.
Dewey,
Maybe I,
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
Item I is a resolution authorizing the contract with the University of Illinois Extension to provide farm business training services for the King County food growers, $299,185.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez move.
Lewis seconds.
Lewis second discussion. Roll call, please.
Dewey,
maybe I,
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes. Item J is a resolution authorizing a contract with New Venture Advisors LLC to provide food and agricultural project consulting services for $305,000.
Lewis moves.
This was not in our, detail was not in. We have a copy of it, Mr. Vanderkloff.
Sanchez, seconds.
All right, Sanchez, second discussion.
Pepe,
Roll call.
Pepe here. What is this for?
It's a contract with New Venture Advisors. Mark.
To
would you
provide
like to-
consulting services for what?
Mark.
Sure, these are consulting services. These next two contracts, this one and the following one. These two consultants were selected through an RFQ process. We worked on with purchasing. The idea is to have qualified consultants on board to help us be flexible and agile for a couple of agricultural related projects. One, probably the largest one, is working on spending our ARPA dollars that have been allocated for agriculture. The other is to help us with grants, some grants that we've already received but don't have the staff in-house to completely administer. And then also to be agile for future grant opportunities that are coming in. They typically give us 30 to 45 days to apply. And some of the services these consultants would be able to provide would be helping us apply quickly for those additional grant funds.
Thank you.
It is also marked that it was budgeted, this resolution, for the dollar.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Dewey,
maybe I,
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
And item K is a resolution authorizing a contract for Ellen Camps to provide food and agriculture project consulting services, $170,000.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves.
Lewis seconds.
Lewis second. Discussion. Mr. Leonard.
Mr. Chairman, what period of time is this contract for?
Mr.
Sure, thank you. Actually, both of these contracts are a not to exceed amount, so if we don't use the services, well, it's just a not to exceed. And then they're for a 1-year period with an option to renew for 1 year.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes. Item L is a resolution authorizing a contract for King County Moving Services with corrected line item for $300,000.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves.
Lewis seconds.
Lewis second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
And item M is a resolution authorizing the contract extension for Mill Creek SSA Parkway Tree Services, $20,456.80.
Leonard moves.
Leonard moves.
Lewis seconds.
Lewis second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Thank you. And item N is a resolution authorizing contract extension for Mill Creek SSA Parkway Tree Installation Services of $60,000.
Lewis moves.
Lewis moves.
Sanchez seconds.
Sanchez second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
Thank you. And item O is a resolution authorizing agreement with White and Company for the Public Defender Office renovation of $50,000.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves.
Juby seconds.
Juby second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
Item P is a resolution authorizing agreement with the Illinois Department of Health Care and Family Services to allow medical presumptive eligibility for pregnant women program and family planning program.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves.
Juby second.
You'll be second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes, thank you. And Q is a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the DuPage County for juvenile detention services.
Leonard moves.
Leonard moves.
Lewis seconds.
Lewis, second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
passes.
Thank you. And item R is an ordinance providing for the payment of toll bridge revenue bonds, sales tax supported, Series 2018 of the County of Kane, Illinois, in advance of maturity, and authorizing and directing the execution of an escrow agreement in connection therewith.
Sanchez will move.
Sanchez moves.
Lewis seconds.
Lewis second.
Just have a
Discussion.
comment.
Ms. Lewis?
Yeah, and this is a comment not really related to this ordinance, but there was a great article in the Herald yesterday about the Long Meadow Toll Bridge and, that the toll's going away. And it's quite a big deal that this has happened. And I just wanted to acknowledge, along with Madam Chair, Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Caius for never giving up on this project. You guys should be very proud of everything you've done.
Very good.
So-
Mr. Tepe, you have any comments on this?
Been a long time, guys.
Yes, it has.
Very good. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Dewey,
Aye.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman.
Berman, yes.
Passes.
Oh. Item S, a resolution authorizing payment to Onsolve for Code Red and IPAWS for the Kane County Office of Emergency Management out of the Public Safety Sales Tax Fund 125, $34,414.34.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves.
Dewey.
Seconds.
Lewis, second discussion. Roll call, please.
Dewey,
Aye.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman.
Berman, yes.
Passes.
Item T, a resolution ratifying an emergency purchase affidavit to purchase two 2024 Ford E-Transit 350 cargo vans for the Building Management Department, total of $98,630.52.
Leonard moves.
Leonard moves.
Sanchez seconds.
Sanchez, second discussion. Roll call, please.
Dewey,
Aye.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman.
Berman, yes.
Passes.
And U is a resolution revision to the Kane County financial policies. Kathy, maybe you would like to speak to this.
Yes, last month I brought this up as a discussion only item that I am putting headers and page numbers and a table of contents together. Jared, thank you for the table of contents idea. So that when we update our King County financial policies, it's going to be easier because then we can update them based on individual section. And I realize that there's some perhaps outdated things yet in these policies that we need to correct going forward, but essentially all that we're doing here today is just putting headers, a table of contents, et cetera, a page numbering system together for all of our King County financial policies. Nothing in the content has changed.
Thank you. Any questions or any comments? I
just
think,
have a comment.
Ms. Julie.
I just want to say that Kathy touched on it, that this is not a complete update of this. There are lots of things in there that are going to be touched later. So
Sanchez.
Would it require an amendment to this resolution to select the typeface and the font size? Okay, no. All right, thank you.
Probably. I think the wording of this is really moving us into the 21st century, so I think it's good.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Tepe.
was Sanchez making an amendment?
No motion. He was.
Not at this time. Maybe next month.
He's just breathing hard. Roll call, please. Do we have a motion to move? I thought we did, didn't we?
Sanchez moves.
We need a motion to approve.
Leonard seconds.
Next, our discussion and roll call, please.
Dewey,
aye.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman.
Berman, yes.
Passes.
And item V is a resolution authorizing the creation of a special revenue fund for the processing of additional compensation or stipends for certain elected officials and department heads. Do I have a motion to approve?
Sanchez will move.
Sanchez moves.
Lewis, seconds.
Lewis, second discussion. Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could someone explain to me what this is?
Kathy.
Yeah, so certain elected officials receive a stipend or additional compensation from the state every year. And the way that has historically worked is the state pays the compensation piece, the stipend piece, and then they send a check to the local governments. This is all type local governments, and have us, because they're an employee of the county, pay the FICA and the IMRF. The state changed the law this year. So they're going to the state is now going to send a check to the county for the amount of that additional compensation slash stipend, and have the county then distribute that amount directly to the elected officials. And you guys know I don't like creating new funds, but the state statute says that it must be held in a separate fund. There won't be a lot of money rolling through this fund. It'll be in and out in a very short period of time, but it's now required.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is it an actual check or is it an electronic fund transfer?
I don't know. I know in the past with the amounts for the FICA and IMRF portion, they have sent a check. But I don't know if they're changing that. I don't have the answer right now,
I think it would be more efficient, right, if we got EFTs?
but that's up to the state.
I understand.
Yes,
I
yes.
understand. All right, thank you.
If you can make your suggestion directly to the state. We have a motion, a second. We need to, a roll call, please.
Doobie,
Ruby, I.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Tepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Yes,
passes.
very good. And finally, W, a resolution adopting a review and approval process for county agreements.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves,
Lewis, second.
Lewis second. Ms. Juby,
Yeah, I don't really understand how this is different than what we already do, so can someone explain it to me? No, nobody?
Kathy?
And John, if you want to go.
SEO Frank. So this is a change that's being asked for. It was done as a part of a cooperation due to other issues we've had where county board is approving contracts without ever actually seeing the contract. And then because of certain terms, the departments or whoever has to come back before the board to get the specific terms reapproved. This changes nothing in the process other than simply requiring the contract to be negotiated before the county board reviews and approves it. It also avoids an issue where a vendor might claim that a contract has already been locked in through the purchasing process. So this is just, as far as I'm concerned, good process, and it'll save the board a lot of time.
Ms. Juby?
And does this affect a lot of contract? I mean, do we approve a lot of contracts without that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Doobie,
Ruby, I.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Pepe,
Tepe, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
This-
Concludes our new business. I have no old business. Does anyone else? Motion to replace our reports on file.
Sanchez asked for unanimous consent to place reports on file.
Request for unanimous consent. Everybody agree? And we will place our reports on file. Unanimous consent. I have no comments as chairman. There is no need for an executive session to the best of my knowledge. I don't know of any other public comments at this point in time. And I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Wow.
Sanchez moves.
It just moved.
Leonard,
100 seconds. All those in favor say aye.